Hello there everyone and welcome back to Let's 9-Day Pikmin. We are all out of new land to explore, so we're just gonna have to go through the 4 areas again and pick up the rest of the ship pieces. And right off the bat, the camera angle confuses me. It's just the angle you look from in the opening cutscene versus the angle you look at from when you get control of Olimar. It always gets me. I'm just so eager to get started that I walk the wrong way because camera angles. Hey, what are you gonna do? And what are you gonna do about Pikmin AI for picking up bombs? I swear, that is a thing. It has to be a thing. Seriously. They're bad at it. But now that we have yellow Pikmin, we can break down this wall, which we obviously couldn't do on the first day. There's a whole new area back here with a single ship piece. Because game designers are dicks and do stuff like that. Of course, you can't really expect game designers to take stuff like 9-day runs into considerations. Dude, you're stupid. But that's all I needed the yellow Pikmin for. The yellow Pikmin are pretty much just useful for being demolition crews. Just like in the distant spring, how I pretty much destroyed every single wall in there. Just went around, bombed everything, because that's just a good way to do it. But now I have a much bigger army of Pikmin, and it's a pain in the ass to get an army like that up this ramp. So, just gonna go ahead and throw them all up there. And I'll talk about that guy later on. I get a better opportunity to do so, don't worry too much about him. He'll get his time in the spotlight. Don't worry. Right now I'm more concerned about... well, I guess I don't really have a lot to be concerned about. But right here we have a Pearly Clam. And one thing I will say about the Pearly Clams, there's a very big difference in how quickly they die, depending on where you throw your Pikmin. If you throw your Pikmin on top of that bubble, inside of them, that contains the item you get, your Pikmin will just bounce, slide off, and they won't get very much time to attack before the Clam attacks. So throwing them like I do on the side is the recommended way to do it. And also, right here, Olimar is sliding down the hill. This is something about these Clam that I've always found kind of annoying. Like, the two holding the pearls, they're just surrounded by small hills that Olimar keeps sliding on. So it's kinda hard to keep your good throwing spot. But as long as you call your Pikmin back in good time, it's not really something you have to worry too much about. But that is pretty much all you have to do in this area on your second visit. We just... what? 3 bubbles? 2 bubbles? 3 bubbles. And we're already done. Already done. That's what I meant when I said that this area was kinda stupid for having just another ship piece. Because there's just nothing to do other than get that one ship piece. And that obviously makes for a very, very short episode. And that is kinda sad. I don't like short episodes, so... well, I might as well say it now. This episode is going to have some bonus content. Yeah, bonus content. That is going to be a thing. But before that, I want to show just how many Pikmin you get for these pearls. In doing so, fancy camera work. Engage. Yeah. More or less fancy camera work. But seriously, this is pretty amazing. Just watching 50 Pikmin grow up like that. But I don't really need 50 blue Pikmin. Also, I was about to click on continue from last save. That's what you do when you want to reset a day. And at this point I had done that quite a lot. In the 3 main areas. I hadn't done it for this day because this day is kind of a joke. But I was just so used to clicking on continue from last save that go to sunset. I kinda almost skipped that. But I caught myself doing it, so everything is well. But that's all you really have to do in this area. Also, there are no spotted Bulbobs in this area. I don't know why one comes. I guess it would be stupid to have a Pearly Clam come, because, well, they're clams. Yeah. Well. There are some other enemies that appear in this area, which I will be showing now. Well, more or less now. I have to plug all of these 50 Pikmin that I left. You'll notice that I'm on day 9. So, what that basically means is that this is something I did after I completed the 9-day run. When you complete the final day, when you get the 30th ship piece, the game doesn't actually save after that, so when you get back to your save files, you'll just have 29, and you'll be on the day where you got it, so that's why I'm on the 9th. My voice is cracked. That's why I'm on the 9th day. Picking all of these Pikmin, I think it's funny how all of the Pikmin try to stand in the same spot, like that. That is kind of funny. And I'm just getting them all flowered up here. Not really for any particular reason. It's not like I'm going to be carrying anything important back to base, so I don't really need the speed. I just do it for the hell of it. So, yeah. And even with two blobs of nectar, I don't get all of them flowered up. That is kinda sad. There's still a leaf in there somewhere. 2. It's 2 leaves. And once again I'm throwing my Pikmin up there because, well, an army of 50 Pikmin up that ramp. That's just not worth the trouble. It's not worth the trouble. But anyway, 1 Pikmin. Anyway, like I was about to say, after the 8th day, a special enemy will appear in this area, alternating between odd and even days. On odd numbered days, you get the Gulix. The Gulix is a kinda funny enemy. It's a big blob of water with these 2 balls inside of it. One kinda looks like it's supposed to be a brain, but at the same time it looks like a sports ball of some kind. Sort of in the same style as a basketball, but not quite. And when you throw your Pikmin on top of that one, the entire Gulix just... Well, you can see what it does. I think it's really funny. And it just knocks off all of the Pikmin and they go flying everywhere. It's very amusing. But as you see right here, it doesn't actually damage it if you do it repeatedly. So I'm just throwing my Pikmin all over the place. And it's a silly enemy. I should also note that using red Pikmin or yellow Pikmin against this guy, they're just going to drown, since it's a blob of water. So, blue Pikmin are the only ones that can do damage to it. Maybe you can throw red Pikmin onto it and do damage on the impact, but they'll just drown in it. And also, look at it stretching. It's trying to get Olimar. It's so cute. It's so cute. And then it gets me. It just had one last stretch before it died. It's kinda funny. And this is also funny. No Pikmin tried to pick up the red one. The blue Pikmin did not want the red pellet. I don't know what that's all about. Some blue versus red kind of nonsense. The two colors don't like each other. What the? That was just a unique little enemy, and I don't really care to get more Pikmin, so I'm just gonna go to the end of the day, just like that other one, and we are back. Yes, my cutting skills are the smoothest of all cutting skills. Totally. So, getting out red Pikmin this time, I guess for the damage multiplier that I keep mentioning. I believe it's like 1.5 more damage than other Pikmin. So that's pretty good for, I guess. You'll see that on the last day that I use a lot of red Pikmin. Until then, you don't see too much of them. Yes. But now I can finally talk about the iridescent flint beetle. Because it's freaking the frack out. Seriously. So, Pikmin really like to attack iridescent flint beetles. And that's just really annoying. But if you throw your Pikmin on top of them, they will give you pellets and nectar, so they're pretty nice in some way. But they're more so annoying. That is my opinion on the iridescent flint beetles. And you can already see the enemy we're going to be fighting out there. But before I go to fight him, I did sprout some red Pikmin. And there's a pretty good reason for that, which will be coming up shortly when I actually get to the guy. You're probably already... I mean, it's pretty obvious that there's some difference between fighting him with leaf Pikmin or flower Pikmin. Something that is worth pointing out. Yeah. Now, this is a Mamuta. Mamuta. Hakuna Matata. Mamuta. Reminds me of that. They don't really attack you, but if you attack them, they freak out. And they try to squish you. And look at that! The leaf Pikmin turned into flower Pikmin. That's very interesting that another creature would just smash Pikmin into the ground and turn them into flower Pikmin. It's a really weird enemy that just can't kill Pikmin. The only thing the Mamuta can do damage to is Olimar himself. And other than that, you just really don't want to get all of your Pikmin pounded into the ground like I just did. Because trying to pick Pikmin up while that guy is trying to smash your face in, that can get kinda dangerous, but he's dead. He's dead. There's not a whole lot more to it. And if you carry him back to base, you get 15 Pikmin. That's about the most interesting thing I could think of after that. So, for the third time in the same video, we are going to sunset after about 4 or 5 minutes of gameplay. However long it is. And that's just 2 mini-bosses, special enemies that don't appear until the 8th day in the impact site. It's kind of interesting, but it would have been nice to have them in the other areas and serve an actual purpose. Also, you get to see the ship when it's completed. That's kind of a shame I didn't take that into consideration, that you would see that. Oh well. At the very least, Olimar is pretty optimistic about completing the ship. Good for him. I'll see you in the next one.